Previously on Category 5 Technology TV. Would you like to take over the con and fly this thing?
I would love to.
Sasha, what did you do?
All I did was push the green button.
All hands have been. And now, the continuation. Welcome to episode number 324 of Category 5 Technology TV. It's Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2013. Nice to see you. I'm Robbie Ferguson.
I am Sasha Dermatis, and coming up in the newsroom, Amazon would like to start delivering your order via unmanned drones.
Ooh.
I know. Google is working on replacing you with a robot, at least on your social platforms.
All right.
Wow, both of those are, yeah.
It's all going to the robots, folks.
A man from Newport accidentally threw out a hard drive containing $7.5 million worth of Bitcoin. And Sony has filed a patent for a smart wig. Yes, it's just as the name implies. Stick around, these stories are coming up later in the show.
Sounds great. Thanks, Sasha. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Wirecast 5 from Telestream. Also, incidentally, we've got a professional copy to give away. Don't go anywhere. This is Category 5, and it's going to be a great show.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. Starring Sasha Dermatis, Hillary Rumble, Krista Wells, Eric Kidd, and your host, Robbie Ferguson.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. So nice to have you here. I'm Robbie Ferguson.
I am Sasha Dermatis. Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Cat5.tv/TPN and the International Association of Internet Broadcasters.
I know they're tricky.
Cat5.tv/IAIB. There we go.
International Association of Internet Broadcasters.
Is that what it is?
So IAIB.
I'm like, EIEIO. That has changed since the last I've been on.
How about this? I will post links in the show notes for episode number 324. It makes it simpler for you. It makes it a lot simpler for Sasha.
Wow.
That's what we're talking about. Also, don't forget to check out our mobile website, m.cat5.tv. Head on over there if you want to check out the show on your mobile device. Exciting stuff. All right, wait. We've got a fun show tonight. I'm excited to show you Wirecast 5. I'm playing with it kind of, I'm getting familiar with the new interface myself. So if you see me going, what's going on? Okay.
So everything else in the show is now canceled. It will all just be...
So basically, the whole show is... strategically, it's all about Wirecast 5 tonight. It's really just me, just making the show go. Really. Wirecast, It's the software that allows us to do camera switching and play spots and do all the overlays and, that flying in the QR code. All that stuff is powered by Wirecast.
And that's what we're giving away?
Yeah.
No.
Full broadcast suite, professional edition, worth $995.
Worth 4 easy payments of.
No, it's like $1,000.
That's incredible.
So you really can't go wrong. I mean, this is the show to be watching, especially, if you're interested in doing any amount of broadcasting, be it for your own show, if you maybe want to broadcast church services or something like that, sports events, leagues. Kids are doing hockey this winter. Set up a camera, grab Wirecast and a laptop computer. Boom. Live to the web. How do you like that?
Incredible.
Lots of great ideas there.
Super.
I've got the cat phone strategically positioned over here. I can go get it. If somebody wants to give us a call, maybe you've got the number there.
Do I have... Oh, I do have the number here.
There it is.
It is 2545 Cat5TV.
Easy breezy.
Or you can email live@category5.tv.
Get your questions in. This is, that's what Category 5 is about, is getting your questions in and being able to receive help from the live studio personnel. That's us.
Speaking of help, thank you very much to all of the viewers who sent in donations during our Indiegogo campaign. You can still support us financially at http, is that a colon, semicolon?
Yeah.
cat5.tv/c.
Yeah, cat5.tv/c if you want to donate beyond the Indiegogo campaign. I want to say thank you. I mean, Sasha said it, but thank you to everybody who pitched in. We didn't even come close to reaching the bare minimum to get the studio built. But you know what? Every bit helps, and we're a lot closer. We raised a little over $3,000, which, even though, in the grand scheme of what we need to get done, it's not going to get us there. It is a huge chunk toward, it's in the right direction. So we're going to keep at it, and, we're not giving up, and it's not discouraging at all. I'm so appreciative of everybody who is a part of our fundraiser and who wants to see this show grow. And we're going to just keep going and see how quickly we can get this done. So lots of great ideas to think about. And I'm going to take a bit of a downtime for the next week or two because it was a lot of work getting that all together. So,
no doubt.
And we're just going to kind of let it breathe. And then we're going to come back to it in the new year, and we'll see what we want to do. And we'll talk to you about that as well at home.
You don't have all the money saved up in Bitcoin on a hard drive.
Oh, goodness. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, I forgot. I've got a hard drive over here somewhere that just happens to have $4.2 billion in Bitcoin. I totally forgot about this.
This is awesome.
It's so good. I was so going to throw this out. Wow.
Coming up later in the news.
Could you imagine? Oh, that poor guy.
Spoiler.
Yeah, we're going to hear all about that.
Oh, goodness.
I want to say hi to people who have newly registered on our website. I know I've got a list here of your names that we've written out. Here it is. Lazy Cackle Moto. Nice to have you registered on our website, category5.tv. You want to take one?
Wits. I will take Wits and Nice Linux. Hello.
Nice to have you, both of you joining us. John0101.
And Lateb. Also
want to welcome back VB Cohen, who has been absent from the show for quite some time and re-registered on our website, category5.tv. So nice to have everybody registering, becoming a part of the show and the community. And it's encouraging also there's constantly people registering on the website and wanting to be a part of this fun, exciting community here at Category 5. And we love having you here. So it's free. Category5.tv. It's how you win stuff. You've got to be registered. We've got some contest announcements tonight. We've got more stuff we're giving away before Christmas. So you don't want to miss out. Make sure you get registered at category5.tv.
Excellent. Yeah, everybody else, all the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids. So you're registered.
Am I registered?
Are you registered? She's not cool. Not cool.
The news. Is it time for the news?
No, it's actually it's not anywhere near the time for the news.
I'm not. I don't think I'm registered. Now, in my defense, I have like a solid, In
your defense, you don't even own a computer.
Exactly.
Let them know.
That is my defense. I am computerless. I have like one tiny little smartphone with not a lot of space for my typing.
We have a mobile website.
Yeah, except that it is difficult to navigate. My computer. Oh, okay. Let me honestly tell you, and it has nothing to do. It does. No, I'm not digging anything. Let me. No. For some reason, you know how when you're typing something and you type it wrong and the little red line comes underneath and you click on it and it changes to the right thing?
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't do that for mine. When I click on it and change
you've disabled the autocorrect.
No, it's the autocorrect has gone haywire. So when I go to correct a word down here in the body, for some reason, it keeps that bad word, or not bad word,
sure,
incorrect word. But then it inserts additionally the correct word way at the front of the body, like right at the beginning. It's
crazy.
Weird. It's crazy. I don't know how to fix it. I don't want to get a new phone. It's hard to explain to the tech people there why I would like to have my phone replaced. It's like a weird, strange thing, and it's so irritating that you might have noticed. You'll email me these nice, loquacious, huge emails, and I'll email back.
That's her way of saying that I'm long-winded.
3 words. I'm like, yes,
Type
okay,
really fast,
see you
so
then.
it's okay.
Because when I go to type or change anything, it's very annoying on my phone, and I would really like a new computer for Christmas. Santa.
Hint, hint. Is Santa watching?
Santa baby.
Santa baby watching?
So hopefully.
Maybe. Well, we can email him a copy of the show. You know.
I am begging for a laptop.
All right.
Okay.
I really want to get straight into Wirecast.
Okay.
I'm excited about this. We've been seeing it coming for some time, waiting for the next big release. Craig in the forum has been alluding to it for about 17 years. Everybody's like, when's the next big version coming? When's the next big version? And all he can really say is, oh, well, we'll bring out updates as they come. And there is a big version coming, but I am not allowed to say anything. It's under embargo. So it's here, Wirecast 5, and you can get it from cat5.tv/Wirecast. I'm going to bring it up for you. cat5.tv/Wirecast gets you there. It's here, and there is a free trial, downloadable, ready for you to play around. Give it a test with your webcams. See how you like it. See how it works for you. It's exciting. So one of the things that I was a little bit hesitant about, just to be honest, is that we are a very active Wirecast-produced, Wirecast broadcast show in that we never have any downtime. We go from week to week to week, and we're always broadcasting. There's never a chance to take 2 weeks down to play around with the latest and greatest.
Right.
There's never a chance to, if I install it, when do I have a chance to uninstall it if something goes wrong, right?
So it's risky.
It's risky. It's always risky for us. So last night, this is how close it comes, right? Because we were wrapping up everything from the fundraiser. We're wrapping up everything from last week's show. And then last night, deployed Wirecast 5. And lo and behold, perfect, seamless process to get the upgrade from Wirecast 4. So I was nervous because I was doing a major upgrade. Not just Wirecast 4 to 4.01. I'm talking Wirecast 4 to Wirecast 5. New interface. They said there's new codecs. It's going to be brand new. It operates a lot differently. How big of a jump is that going to be? So let's go through the install process together. This is the install of Wirecast on our actual live broadcasting server. We agree to the terms and conditions. Where do we want to save it? This is on Windows 7. Wirecast 5 is compatible with Windows 8. This question here is important. Do you want to install the virtual microphone? Wirecast 5, Wirecast has this great feature called virtual microphone, which allows us now to output the audio to a capture, like a virtual capture device. So now I can actually source audio from Wirecast to Skype video. I can use it as the source. I can throw it over to Google Hangouts. I can throw it over to, in our case, a program called Butt, which is broadcast using this tool. And that's what we actually stream Category 5 radio with. Okay, so that gives you the audio feed coming off of Wirecast's virtual microphone. All these crazy names, right? It's
so
cheese,
you're
it's
talking
butt,
out
it's
of
talking out of our butts.
here at Category 5.
That's the software. I don't name it. I just use it. So, back to it.
Sorry.
We definitely want to have the virtual microphone set up. It is a fantastic addition. Ever since they brought that into Wirecast, it's really opened us up to being able to source video out to other devices. Okay. So carrying on with the install. Really, really easy, super fast. Remember that I've already been using Wirecast 4 on this system for the longest time, and it's done. It's complete. And so we can close out of the installer and just open Wirecast. And lo and behold, this is the nervous point right here. What's going to happen to my files? And it actually loaded the last episode of Category 5. You'll see the shot list is from episode number 323. You see Eric's shot there and everything like that. And everything works just as would be expected. So that was both surprising and exciting for me coming out of the box, being able to fire up Wirecast 5 for the very first time with no incident. And not only that, but it loaded the last episode, the saved file from my hard drive from Wirecast 4, and allowed us to just continue broadcasting. So I didn't have to recreate any of my shots. We're in fact, here we are using Wirecast tonight. There we are. We've got all the shots from previous weeks, and everything is working just fantastically well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's good. It's compatible with Windows or Mac OS. There is not a Linux version of Wirecast, and that, we would love to see something like that. But truth is, sometimes there are instances where you absolutely have to have Windows or Mac. Here's one of them. So what is Wirecast? We know it's a camera switcher. Okay. So think of it this way. Starting at only, the price starts at $495.
Right.
You're able to get a full camera switching production suite for live broadcast and record to disk, all in one piece of software. So it uses your existing hardware, which has to be reasonably decent hardware in order to operate. Of course, you're going to be switching probably HD cameras these days, but multiple inputs. We use Blackmagic Intensity Pro capture cards, and everything comes in just fine. New version also has Blackmagic output so that you can have monitors using HDMI, which is another fantastic thing. But let's take a quick look at what it is. There we go. So this is actually, we're live right here. You can see if I raise my hand and wave, we're actually live in the shots down at the bottom there. So at the bottom, you'll see that the frame rate is very, very low, and that is, in fact, the way that we want it, because we don't want to have a high frame rate in our previews, because that's just using a whole lot of CPU power for something that we don't really need. Previews are handy so that as I'm working here, and if something dramatically changes, if I take my desktop over here and change it, isn't it nice that the thumbnail down there in the bottom left actually changed as well? So then when I change to that shot, there you go. So Wirecast gives me a good live representation of what that is through that thumbnail. So these shots are basically, as I click around, this changes the camera. Up here, you'll notice that I don't have a preview window because I'm live to air, and so preview just is more work for me to use. You can use a preview window if you like, and that just gives you a double shot so that as you change camera angles, it will actually show you on the left-hand side your preview before it actually cues it up and goes. So you can disable your automatic live setting, and it will do that a little bit differently, but I like to just have it go live instantly as I click. And that's me. It's different for everybody, and that's what's nice about Wirecast. It's adaptable. So it's a full suite. It feels like it's really evolved and grown into a professional broadcast tool. And Wirecast has always been on the higher end of the software spectrum when it comes to broadcasting. But this is really pushing it toward, wow, it feels like an appliance. It feels like I'm running high-end appliance hardware for my broadcast. And there it is. So you see a few different things. You see that the audio meters over on the right-hand side give a representation of my voice, any audio that's happening. And that's coming in off of our mixing console. You'll see that in my shot. So you'll see that here I am. This is my camera. There it is. There are two line-in devices. The first one is a high-definition sound card, and the second one is a Sound Blaster, just a Sound Blaster card that I stuck in PCI Express. And the first card is actually pulling audio off of our mixing console. That's the board that actually runs our microphones and all that kind of stuff. The second one is actually a tablet. So you guys don't see this at home. It's kind of interesting. But the second sound card is, in fact, a tablet system, an Android basically tablet that we run our sound off of. So if I want to trigger our music, it's as simple as just touching our theme song on that screen. So that's kind of cool. So that comes in on the second sound card. And then we've got up here where you see our checker, and that's in fact the lower third that we have there. So when I put in Robbie Ferguson. With Wirecast, I can actually change that as much as I want to my heart's content. Right? And it's as simple as that. Remember, we're doing all this live. Is that not cool?
That's amazing.
that we're able to actually do. I'm actually clicking and doing everything that you're seeing on your screen right now is happening live. Nothing pre-recorded.
And he's not even breaking a sweat.
Not even.
Incredible.
We're cool. We're cool.
I love it.
So, next up on Wirecast here, let's take a look. Okay, we've got our output settings. This is where you've got your virtual microphone. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
So virtual microphone is set up to send the audio that I see here on the left
Right.
out to other software and devices. So that's where there's broadcast using this tool, is actually pulling that audio and is pushing it out to Category 5 radio.
Okay.
Okay. So beyond that, we've got all of our sources. So cameras, our demo computer screen, which is just an IP address on our network. And that works by a software called Desktop Presenter, which is also provided by Telestream, and it's part of the Wirecast software. So you'll see, oddly enough, even though Wirecast doesn't work on Linux, Desktop Presenter, in fact, works just fine on Linux. And that is because we're using Wine.
Wine?
Wine.
Wine makes everything work.
Fantastic. Wine is a piece of software that allows us to run Windows applications, some Windows applications on Linux. And
Okay.
we've shown it on the show, and there are videos on our website. Go to our website, click on the search, and do a search for Desktop Presenter, and you'll see how it's done. You can actually make it work on Linux. So that lets me stream the desktop through our network.
Right.
So there's no HDMI cable going out from the computer to the input on the broadcast computer. We don't have to do that. So I can pull in as many computers as I want at 60 frames a second and stream them live to the internet.
Wow.
Directly through Wirecast.
And they can be any operating system?
That can be Windows, Mac, Linux, running Desktop Presenter. Absolutely. Linux is not officially supported, but as I've shown here and as I've shown through the show, and we've actually done a demonstration to teach you how to install it on Linux, that is absolutely functional, even though not officially supported.
Very neat.
So, a little bit more in depth. These are our shots. I've shown you this just really, really briefly. And for me to edit any one of these shots, it's simply a double click. So there's Sasha and I. And if I want to edit Sasha's shot, there you go. Sometimes if the camera is too high or too low, right live on the show, I'll actually reposition the camera, which is as simple as doing something like that.
I'm making it difficult.
Dragging the mouse. There you go. And again, changing the checkerboard if we want. That's the lower third titles. If I wanted to, I can create new shots in Telestream Wirecast. And there are a few different options. First of all, if we want to add a video file, if we want to add an audio file, or if we want to add a desktop presenter screen. Desktop presenter is what's actually allowing me to show you this screen right now. I've actually created a desktop presenter shot with Telestream Wirecast. So if I wanted to create, say, a virtual studio set, I could go and add a new shot. And with that new shot, I can create a virtual set. And you've seen this as we demonstrate some of the things that we were hoping to do with the new studio. We can actually create virtual sets and things like that. So absolutely limitless as to what we can do with Telestream Wirecast. Really exciting stuff. I'm going to be showing you over the next couple of weeks. We're actually going to do a few. We're actually going to do a few shows where we're going to demonstrate the product and how to use it with various different cameras, what kind of difference the cameras make, what kind of things you need to do in order to get good audio, and how to actually use Telestream Wirecast. So I'm very excited. You know, tonight is just show you this is what it is, this is what it does, and we're actually going to be teaching you a little bit more about broadcasting over the next little while, and we're going to actually give away a free copy of Telestream Wirecast Pro Edition. And that is worth $995. So definitely something you want to get in on. Do you want to let them know how they can win that? I can let them know. Because I know she's like, I want to do the news. I'm so excited about these stories. Our contest announcement, basically, we're collecting ballots right now. What?
It's in yellow.
So you know.
I know.
So you know where to go.
Yes, we're collecting ballots. Email live@category5.tv with the subject line, I want Wirecast.
I want Wirecast.
In cap locks, maybe
However
some
you wanna put it.
exclamation
Lots
points.
of exclamation points.
Emoticons will help.
Yep.
And in the body of the email, give us your registered username on category5.tv. It's that easy. Although you do have to be registered. Register at category5.tv today. It's free. You can join our family. So, and then win. Simple as that.
As simple as that.
All you got to do
Register, send us an email,
win.
say, I want Wirecast, tell us who you are,
That's right.
and win.
Put some smiley faces in there. Love them.
Good luck.
Is it news time yet?
It's news time.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
really most excited for news story number 4, but we'll
Okay.
start with number 1.
Now, Jot was saying, I'll just say, Jot was saying that there's something illegit about this news story, but it's come across the wire. This is the real news. And if this is not actually happening, then I need to know about it. But is this actually
that it might not be
it
real?
might not actually be real. But
Is it April 1st?
No, it's not.
Then it has to
Jot
be
is
real.
pulling our legs, or somebody's pulling our legs. But this is the news as it came across the wire today. So
here
here's
we
hoping.
go.
Here's hoping.
This
'Cause
is
this
great.
is cool.
The chief executive of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, says that they are testing unmanned drones to deliver goods to customers. The drones, called octocopters, could deliver packages from the world's largest online retailer to customers within 30 minutes of them placing the order. I feel like this is something he would do, actually, after listening to some interviews with him.
I think that
this
they
is
might
definitely,
just try it.
This is a brainchild. Yeah.
Even if it's not legal,
Right.
it can become legal with the buying power of a company like Amazon.
Now, this says
All
that...
right, what does it say?
That, I know this looks like science fiction, but it's not, Mr. Bezos told 60 Minutes. We can do half-hour delivery. We can carry objects, we think, up to 5 pounds, which is 2.3 kilograms, which covers about 86% of the items that we deliver. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has not yet approved the use of unmanned drones for civilian purposes.
There you have it.
But it could take up to 5 years, and it could take up to 5 years for the service to start.
Makes sense.
I guess once you start approving unmanned drones for things, there's going to be... people will
Could
have
be a
to
little bit of
walk the
backlash.
streets wearing helmets. Like, you
think?
really... Yeah, you'd be in trouble even if they had, like, a height limit. Like, your kids on trampolines
Oh, yeah,
just
you gotta
getting
watch
bonked
out.
by an octocopter.
Well, the thing's got to fly pretty high, right? These things can fly a kilometer up or something. So
Yeah.
why not?
What if it crashes, though? Right?
Then it's a book. I mean, and it's an octocopter. It's not gonna.
I'm not
They're
saying I
pretty
disapprove
stable.
because I kind of really love the idea.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining why it will take a little while to be approved. Because
of the payload.
the what if category is pretty high for catastrophe.
Yeah, it's like you just stand there, like, okay, so place your order and then stand out on your front deck, and just hope that it lands on you.
You want to
Maybe a
make sure
parachute or
that
something.
your address is right. You know how
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
in Google Maps,
well, you
if
might
you
have
put
to
the
use
address in,
geolocation or something. What if it lands on your roof? What if it lands in a tree? Who's piloting these things? These are the questions that we have for Amazon.
right? What
I'm
if
going to order a book and get free drone delivery.
I don't order books from Amazon, though, even though
Why?
I totally appreciate the
Okay.
idea. I really love going to the bookstore and getting personal customer service. I love it.
At a bookstore.
I love it.
No offense to bookstores everywhere, but
They are great
I know,
people.
I know.
Now,
It's such a catch-22 because I love the convenience that I have already done a lot of my Christmas shopping from the comfort of right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just books anymore. Amazon has furniture and appliances and barbecues and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your big box store online, and it's quite often free shipping. That's convenient.
by Octocopter?
Yeah, mine came by Canada Post, but it got here, which is amazing.
Yeah. Now, that said, I went a couple of days ago to our local bookstore.
Yes.
And
Did they have what you were looking for?
no.
There you have it.
They checked Amazon and told me to get it there.
So what do? They say, this is the problem. I've gone to the local bookstore and they'll say, we don't have the book that you're looking for. This is a very specific title. We can order it. It'll be 2 weeks. I'm sorry? Why don't you order it from Amazon and then get it the next day and sell it to me for a markup or something?
I know.
That's where it kind of falls flat.
Amazon's got it going on. They do.
They really do.
They haven't completely won me over yet because I like conversation.
I bought a book on Amazon for my daughter for Christmas. And in transit, it got damaged by Canada Post. Okay. I mentioned Canada Post because then everybody who's listening can go, oh, yeah, of course. It got damaged, of course. So then it got shipped back to the person who shipped it to me, which sold through Amazon. They weren't actually Amazon. They were selling through Amazon. And they said, well, I can't sell this as new. It's damaged. And by damaged, I mean they folded it in half and creased the cover. Oh. Which is a really stupid thing to do when it's obviously a book. But that's what happened. So they actually signed it off and said, we've refunded your money. Can't sell it as new, so here you go. And they sent it to me anyways. So I ended up getting the book for free because it had a creased cover and just good customer service. Got here in a timely fashion and well in advance of Christmas. So can't beat that.
No.
But it didn't get delivered by an octocopter.
I just really want that to catch on in a safe way where I don't have to wear a helmet everywhere I go.
Yes.
Is that a picture of me wearing a helmet?
Is that you wearing a helmet? Oh, yes. Oh, we just happen to have a picture of Sasha wearing a helmet. No, that is one creepy-looking robot, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Anyhow, on to the next story.
We just happen to have avatars of Sasha on standby.
I feel weird. If maintaining your presence on social media is becoming a burden, Google may be able to help. The search giant has patented plans for software which slowly learns how you react on social networks. Creepy. The software can mimic your usual responses to updates and messages from friends and relations to help cope with the daily data deluge.
Okay, so hold on. Thinking about every teenage girl on the face of the planet. So basically this thing will automatically like photos of kittens.
Yeah,
will automatically tag things with LOL.
And smiley faces.
Smiley faces.
That's not just a teenage girl thing.
No.
I love my smileys. And yeah,
how
things
hard
like
is
awesome, like multiple explanation.
So you can sit back.
Exclamation points.
Yeah, I had that problem last week.
Points.
What happens when everybody's using one of these robots?
Nobody needs to talk to each other
and
any
it's
longer.
It's just a whole bunch of robots just liking each other and LOLing at each other and smiley faces.
What happens if I need to react to something and it's been reacted to in an inappropriate fashion and then I have to backtrack and be like, I'm sorry, my other self said that. My robot me said that. Because there are some things that come up in social media that you need to actually think outside the box. Use critical thinking before you respond. Makes
you think, doesn't it? What would your social media robot act like? Would it be a jerk? I hope not.
No, mine would just have a lot of smiley faces.
Like a bunch of
lots of likes.
Photos of kittens?
No, I don't do that. Not just kittens? In case it's
memes? Political memes.
I don't even know what that means. Memes mean? That's horrible.
You need a robot.
I need a robot. The software also analyzes continuing interaction and flags messages that demand a more personal response. There we go.
Oh.
They do flag messages.
So it lets you know.
Yes. Fabulous.
This one is from Mum. Please respond.
Wait.
I gotta log in.
Oh. I can't see this going great places.
No.
I'm kind of freaked out that Google is now trying to read our thoughts, actually. Don't worry about thinking, says Google. We'll do that for you.
We'll actually replace you.
We know where you are, what you buy, what you do, what you think, how you eat.
What you watch.
Here's a list of things you might like. And you know what? Don't even worry about considering whether or not you like them. We'll just like them for you.
Perfect. I'll just sit back. Do my show, Google.
You'll just be in your backyard thinking, I would really like to read this book. And all of a sudden, an octocopter is just going to drop it beside you. Google thought you might like this.
And then suddenly it's liked on your profile. I mean, just like that.
Oh, the world.
Awesome. I love it. Is that it for that?
That's it for that.
Wow.
That is done.
Oh, dear. Look at this.
Be careful what you throw out when cleaning up all that computer junk in your garage. A Newport man has been searching a landfill site in South Wales hoping to find a computer hard drive he threw away that is now worth over £4 million or $7.5 million.
Ouch.
I hope he didn't tell his wife. Bitcoins are a virtual form of currency for use online, and James Howell's hard drive is said to contain 7,500 of them. Having spilled a drink,
painful.
possibly wine, on his computer back in 2009, he pulled the system apart and kept some of the components in a drawer, including the computer's hard drive. It sat there until this year when he cleaned the house and threw it away.
No.
This is a Sasha move extraordinaire. Ask me where my baby pictures are.
Oh, Sasha.
It wasn't until later that he remembered it contained the bitcoins. They were worth next to nothing when he obtained them back in 2009. So then it didn't matter. But this week, a single bitcoin's value hit $1,000 or 613 pounds for the first time. It means Mr. Howell's collection is now worth $7.5 million or 4.6 million pounds. And now that we've said this online, everybody's going to be in the landfill in where?
Go dig through.
Newport. Go to the Newport landfill.
Well, here's the problem. I mean, he's there and he says to them, okay, well, how do I find it? And you're looking out over the abyss that is the landfill. And it goes on for as far as a football field.
And not only that, he threw it out sometime this year after cleaning, not last Tuesday, right?
So you figure that big of a space and something 5-6 weeks gone, like something that long ago that got thrown into the landfill, would be maybe 7 feet underground. Under all that garbage.
Every hoarder on earth watching this right now is saying, aha.
This is why I keep this stuff.
I'm keeping it.
Hank,
might be worth $7.5 million.
I told you I wasn't going to throw that out. I told you so. I had 7,500 bitcoins.
Maybe it was the something he was drinking that he spilled that made him forget the fact that he had bitcoins on his hard drive.
I hope that he had strong drink.
Ooh, yeah. So
that is so painful.
Moment of silence for the Bitcoin.
Sorry, buddy.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Now, on to my fave.
Okay, you got another one for us?
Yeah.
Oh, look at these.
And the answer is, because I saw the question in the chat room, not a wig. I'm wearing
not a wig.
Not a wig. Extensions, yes. A wig, no. Totally different. Sony has filed a patent application for smart wig as firms jostle for the lead in the wearable technology sector. It says the smart wig can be worn in addition to natural hair and will be able to process data and communicate wirelessly with external devices. Kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Well, I'm picturing that orange wig on top of your head can be worn in addition to your normal hair. So it's orange to here and then black the rest of the way.
Except that my natural hair is actually shorter than that orange wig. Which is why me reading this story is extra funny.
All right, well, we got to get our hands on one of these. How would Robbie look with that blue?
According to the filing, the smart wig can help navigate roads and collect information such as blood pressure. So, all of those blonde jokes, gone, because you put the blonde wig on and all of a sudden you're so smart. You can just think you want that book and then the octocopter.
Google
done.
Reads your mind. So I can be standing there with my blonde wig and I can read your mind because Google imparts it to me.
Blown away by this. I was creeped out and freaked out by the other stories, but when fashion is involved...
Now it makes sense, folks.
Now I'm like, just buy a wig.
Now it all comes together. You can probably have it drop your wig from Opticopter.
We can find a wig for you.
Order it from Amazon?
Amazon. Don't get it shipped by Canada Post.
No.
The Japanese firm said the wig could be made from horsehair, human hair, wool, feathers, yak hair, buffalo hair, or any other kind of synthetic material. Let me tell you, in all of the research I did, opt for human hair.
A little bit more comfortable?
It might be more expensive, but it's less creepy, more comfortable.
Less creepy than
sort of less creepy than wool? Yak hair. Horse hair.
I'm picturing wool. And
those are beautiful.
You'd have to have like real curls, right?
Did you have your hair done? No, I shaved a horse.
Oh boy.
At the same time, the communication interface and sensors placed in the wig are at least partly covered by parts of the wig in order to be hidden from sight during use. That's important. For example, you wouldn't know that these are extensions. I can understand you could put like a little thing in there.
This is my real hair.
Anyway, yeah. It said that as a result, the device has the potential to become very popular, as it could be used as a technically intelligent item and fashion item at the same time.
If it looks real, then it might be smart.
No, it's so ludicrous. It's such a ludicrous, hilarious thing that first off, it will work.
Right. Super bright blue hair.
I can't leave the house yet because I can't think on my own without my wig.
Right. So you have to, let me Google that for you. You have to like chew on your hair, or how does that work? How does it work?
I don't know. It must communicate wirelessly.
In the rain, you get electrocuted. I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah, but if you're going to go through all the trouble to buy a smart wig, you're probably not going to end up in the rain.
Yeah.
You probably have a smart umbrella that will automatically deploy itself upon
Great
humidity.
Minds. Yeah.
Wow.
Unreal.
I am so happy I was here today to read the news.
And we're happy to have you.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you can get the full stories. Category5.tv/newsroom. That's you. Oh, you can take it from there if you want.
Where is it?
Is it not there?
No.
Oh, you're just supposed to have it memorized.
You can go ahead and do it.
Put on your smart wig.
Yeah.
Google it.
How did
with
you
your
forget
hair.
that?
You can get the full stories on our website, category5.tv/newsroom. If you have a story that is worthy of on-air mention, all you have to do is email us newsroom@category5.tv, and we will do our best to get your story in and give you credit on the newsroom blog.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
For the Category5.tv newsroom, she is Sasha Dermatis. Yes. I'm Robbie.
Excellent.
I'm just here along for the ride. I've been looking for interesting, kind of creative ways to get Christmas gifts this year.
Ways to think of ideas or ways to
just
get
different ways than going into big box stores and buying the latest toys for the kids.
So what?
I'm just not into that.
So are you thinking of buying stuff and modding it for yourself, or?
No, not necessarily. I'm not crafty or able to really get into that kind of stuff. But one thing that struck me is that we were in a store, where they have the shelf full of personalized pens and pads and magnets and stuff. My daughter, whose name is Natalia, says, the one thing I don't like about and she's 8 years old, and to have her say it so articulately was so cute. The one thing I don't like about having a unique name is that there's never a pen with my name on it.
I know.
And she shows me, she says, there's one that says Natalie, but there's never one that says Natalia.
I hear you, Tally.
Yeah.
I know, because let me tell you, Sasha, first off, is a boy's name.
No.
It is a boy's name.
What are you talking about?
It's a boy's name. And you won't find it in the boys section, but you also won't find it in the girls section.
Just doesn't exist.
And you may find it on a food dish for a German Shepherd, because that is like most Sashas that I know are German Shepherds.
Oh, dear. So she's got a great cereal bowl.
So as I was growing up, everybody was like, a human Sasha? My neighbor's dog's name was Sasha. And I went through the whole, I'd go into the S section. My sister's name is Sarah, and she would have a plastic plate and a little plastic mug and a pen, and I would have nothing.
So at school you hung out with Daisy and
if I would have been
Rover?
There was not a Rover. You're so mean.
That would be so
Max.
cool. I never even thought that about your name. Come on.
Well, it's true. It means defender of mankind. And
of course it does.
Of course,
right? You can tell. Just
my middle name is Sword, so there you go. There's something to know.
Just Sword, literally.
Well, it translates into Sword. I have a long princess name, but one of my middle names is Sword. Actually, the weapon.
I, on the other hand, do not have a long princess name.
You don't have a long princess name?
I have a Jedi name, but that's a whole another story.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so...
With you thinking along those lines.
Yes.
So I got online, and of course, Vistaprint came to the forefront and said, okay, well, this is cool, because you can get pretty much anything made. So, thinking about that, go in here, and lo and behold... What do they have? But they actually have pens and stationery and all that kind of stuff. There's pens. So I can go to pens, and it's so easy. Choose a pen, get started. And what struck me is it starts at $5. And that's pretty
awesome.
Good, right? And not advertising, we're not associated with Vistaprint or anything like that, but just to give you an idea, maybe this is something that might give you a good idea. So I say, okay, well, let's look for butterflies. She loves butterflies. And isn't that perfect? Looks brilliant, right? So you just click on the pen. It's a pretty smart system, and I haven't used Vistaprint in a while. When they first came out, they were pretty good too. But so I said, okay, Natalia Ferguson. Isn't that cool? That easy.
That is incredible.
2013. And it actually shows you what the pen is approximately going to look like. And I said, okay, let's see what happens here. And I clicked next, and okay, that looks really, really good. I approve that and click next. And lo and behold, $5 puts me through the cart, and a couple days later comes in the mail.
Wow. Oh.
And there you go. And it's just that easy.
You know what would have been way better about this story?
What?
Is if you pretended like it just happened now.
Oh, look at that. Oh, it's already here. No, but that would be false advertising.
The story is based firmly in reality.
Whoa! It just appeared from an optocopter. But it looks great, doesn't it? And it matches her personality. It's got her name. So if you've got a child with a unique name, maybe that's an idea for you as well. Vistaprint.ca is where I went. It was like $5 plus shipping. It was brilliant.
Or a normal name with a unique spelling, as is the
Anything
trend.
like that. Or you just want to make something custom and not have to leave your house.
I am the opposite. I look for excuses to
you
leave
go
my
to
house
stores
and talk to people.
You'll visit 50 stores just to see if there's an Natalia pen.
I know. I don't even make my own decisions when I get to the store. I'm like, let me tell you a bit about the person that I'm buying for.
Yes.
Please tell me what they would like.
And they're like, lady, this is Walmart. All I know is where the checkout is.
Would you like a cart? That is all.
No offense to people who work at Walmart. It's not you, it's them.
Or Canada Post. I feel like we should have a lot of
maybe a couple disclaimers here tonight.
This. Yeah.
People who work at Canada Post are some of the most wonderful people. It's not you, it's them. How's that?
That's a good disclaimer.
Do we have some questions?
We do. We have some questions.
Into? Awesome.
All right. Question number 1. Hi, Robbie.
Hello. Well,
not a question, statement.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching your videos. They're extremely helpful.
All right.
It would be great if you could help us with this issue below.
Okay.
Our setup: 2 Panasonic AG HPX250 cameras, I guess.
Yeah.
A Mac
Panasonic
Pro
AG
with
HPX250.
That's right.
Let me Google that while.
Okay.
I will Google it in my wig.
I will keep talking while you Google.
Okay, but I need that model number. Okay. AG-HPX250. Got it.
There's 2 of those.
Okay.
A Mac Pro with Blackmagic Deck Link HD Extreme 3D Plus.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the capture device. So we've got 2 cameras. A capture device.
Right. An ATEM.
Yeah.
1ME switcher.
All right.
And an ATEM 1ME broadcast panel.
Okay. There's the camera.
And Wirecast 4, but let me tell you.
Okay.
Could be Wirecast 5.
Oh, yeah. You could win Wirecast 5.
You could win Wirecast
that would be
5.
Awesome.
That would
Wirecast 4 is fantastic, though. I mean, so with what you have, it's not... you're not restricted in any way.
Okay, so here's the question. That's what they have.
Okay.
Currently, all the camera inputs or video inputs to the ATEM 1ME switcher must all be set to the same format, and the format I choose to stream our church sermon using Wirecast is 720p 59.94.
For streaming. Okay.
Okay. We really can't afford to purchase 2 more AG HPX250s, so my question to you is, can you recommend a less expensive camera that has an HDMI output and with the option to change the format to 720 59.94p?
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at this camera. It's $5,200 on B&H.
Oh, yeah.
So with the ATEM switchers, what it sounds like you're doing, this is what this viewer is doing, is you've got 2 cameras filming the sermon, going through a switcher, which is a hardware version of what we saw Wirecast as.
Right.
Okay? So Wirecast is the software version of what he's doing with the hardware sort of thing. But Wirecast is also a part of his chain because it wants to be able to broadcast it live to the internet. And Wirecast can be used as the end of the chain if you want to do it that way. It can also be used if you've got a powerful enough system as the switcher itself, so you can eliminate the need for the ATEMs, unless probably the ATEMs are used to put stuff up on the presentation projectors.
Right.
Right? In which case Wirecast 5, as I mentioned a little bit, has HDMI output through the Blackmagic card. So you could replace the ATEM with that. So that's neither here nor there. That's not what you're asking. We're looking for a cheaper camera.
Right.
So
it's for Morris.
This is the thing. Okay, Morris. Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. $5,200 a camera. Yeah, you're right. $10,000 to get 2 more. Right? It's pretty pricey. Specs on this, probably pretty decent. I'm not familiar with the camera, but so there's a couple of different cameras that I would look at. I'm on B&H. I would please ask that you go to B&H through cat5.tv/BH. It's going to take you to their store, but what it does is it just puts a little cookie in your computer that says you found them through us. It lets them know that when you purchase, it goes through Category 5, and they actually give us a kickback. That's one of the ways that we pay the bills. So if you're going to shop at B&H anyways this holiday season, please go through cat5.tv/BH. So we're using that website because it's one of the ones that came up in Google. There's the camera that you're currently using. First camera that I would look at is maybe, because you're looking at, this one doesn't have SDI outputs, does it? It looks like, and you mentioned HDMI. Does it not have photos or data maybe in the specs? If it has SDI, like HD SDI, SDI 1 BNC. So it does have, are you using the BNC? No, you're using HDMI, right? So you're strictly using, because if you're buying a camera that has BNC connectors, you're paying for a feature that is quite expensive that you're not using. If you're using HDMI, that's the consumer level as far as the price goes. So let's look at cameras that have HDMI and not BNC. So where I might recommend the XF105, I would instead look at the XF100. XF105 being the same camera but with the SDI. Okay, so here's the XF100. You'll see that this one is about half the price, $24.99. It's a Canon camera. It's pretty decent. It's got nice optics. It's probably going to meet your needs. I would look at the specifications. I don't have really all the information in front of me to, let you know. It does do 720 mode video, so I would expect that you should be able to get, I don't know if you can do 60 frames. Yeah, 60p. Mm-hmm. See, it does say 60p at 720 mode only, so you can't do 60 frames in 1080 mode, but you can do it in 720, which is exactly what you were asking for. So that's probably that if you can spend 2,500 times 2, then the XF100 from Canon is probably the way I would go. Another camera that's caught my eye recently because it's just come out, actually I don't even think it's out yet, it's from Panasonic as well, just like your other cameras. It's the AG-AC8, and it's a lower end consumer. No, why did it change the search query? Let's try it. AG-AC8. Enter. This one is only $1,200, so this is dirt cheap, and it is a AVC cam. It's quite, it's quite a bit different. The optics are not as large. I'm not too sure about the quality of it. I've looked at a couple of different reviews and some videos, but it's not even available on B&H. It says it's available for pre-order only, but it is only $1,200. It's from Panasonic, and it has. I'm seeing here 720 by 480. No, that's not what we want. We want full 720p. Let's see the 720 spec. 720 at 60p. There you go. So this will do 60p just like you're asking for, but it's only $1,200. The optics are a lot smaller in this. I'm not sure what to expect or whether it's even, I'm not necessarily recommending it. I'm saying check it out because the price is really incredible.
A deal you can't pass up. Wow.
Kinda. It's a good name. It's a shoulder mount camera, but I'm not too sure if it's kind of consumer grade hardware within a shoulder mount chassis. At this point, I don't know that because it still hasn't been released. I haven't got my hands on one to play with it and review it. I'd really love to. But it's coming. So that is the AG-AC8 from Panasonic. And that's available on B&H too. So hopefully that gives you a couple of different options. But like I say, if you've got the budget for it, the XF100 from Canon is a really good way to go. This one, again, is slash that one in half. You'll get two for the price of one, two for the price of one that way. So 2 different tiers for you. Hopefully that will help.
And you might also win if you go into I Want Wirecast.
I think you should.
Because
then you get the HDMI output. That is a fantastic feature for you. So that you can get the HDMI out from that DeckLink card up onto the big screen.
Thank you, Morris. All right, there's a question here from, I'm probably going to get this wrong,
That's a weird name.
OAE Systems Tech. There we go.
OAE Systems Tech.
Yeah. So he says, or she, I converted an old computer, Dell Optiplex 330, into a server using EasyBlue software, and it is a Linux-based distro I'm unsure of. Would love some assistance to get it up and running for something other than a print server. Would like to use it as a web or file server or both. I have very little experience with Linux and want to leverage the system and utility of Linux.
I was thinking that maybe we've heard this question before only because I've never heard of EasyBlue myself, and then I remembered that maybe this one came up at the end of last show or something. But check out Apache for your Linux computer. That's going to give you web serving. Also, if you're looking to do, PHP, you can look at the PHP 5 package. Refer back to our last episode. I think at the tail end of the show, I actually touched on this question. So,
okay.
Thanks for sending it in.
So, let's see if I can find one that's kind of a quick one.
We've got a couple minutes left. But
all right.
Yeah, running right out of time. How did we do that?
Okay. Here is a question from Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
I use a program in Windows 8 that came with my motherboard that allows me to have a more fine-tuned control over my sound. For example, if I want, I can enable it to boost dialogue, audio, and videos automatically without having to constantly adjust the volume to compensate for low voice audio.
Like normalization.
Yes.
Okay.
And it can adjust the overall volume in general to prevent those times with the audio in a recorded video when it changes drastically and has you rushing to the volume control. Not cool. This is done through the THX software that came with my motherboard for my integrated sound card.
Right.
My question is there something that can mimic all or some of these features on a Linux environment? I find my sound tends to be way too hard to manage in Linux after gone from the above mentioned features set to the default tools found in Linux. He uses Fedora primarily as my Linux distro of choice, but I know most Linux solutions are able to be used on any distro. So,
does anybody in the chat room have any suggestions specifically for Andrew on that one? I don't use anything like that. And I as you're reading the question, Sasha, I kind of think I'm hearing in my head maybe give a try to Jack Sound Server because what it does is it kind of works like an in-between for your Pulse Audio or your ALSA and your actual playback, and it allows you to add various features, better mixers, things like that. As far as a specific mixer, I wish that I had a suggestion for you specifically, Andrew.
I have a question on Andrew's behalf because he says with his work schedule he doesn't watch the live shows anymore, but he watches the on-demand.
Okay.
Will he be able to access then if he watches? Can he access the chat room afterwards and see? Is there a way? Okay, good.
You can actually see the chat logs in the show notes for episode number 324. We do that with every show.
Okay.
And can I touch on this new feature that's coming?
Yeah.
You want to hear about this?
Yeah.
We are introducing, I'm very excited about this, I don't know why. I think it's kind of a neat feature to help you as you're watching the show. On-demand video that includes closed captioning text provided by the chat room logs. So if I've said that right, and you follow me, as you're watching the show, you'll in fact be able to see, in place of closed captioning, the things that were said live during that moment based on the logs. That's a feature that's coming to Category 5. Very excited about that. It's going to be available on our website. You have to be a registered viewer, and then you have to go into your profile and you need to enable that feature. And then when you're watching the show through our website, you will actually see the closed captioning which is the chat room.
You may notice at times when the co-host gets off topic in the chat room.
Then people start talking about.
You're like,
crazy
what
things.
is going on here? Chocolate?
It's all
What?
good. Sorry, I don't have an exact answer for you, Andrew. Of course, I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna see if I can find anything for you and maybe let you know.
Mm-hmm.
And people are making a few suggestions in the chat room. Thank you, everybody. And it looks like Andrew is here. Nice to see you.
Is he here?
Yeah, is actually here watching live.
Oh, first Tuesday off
yeah.
in a while. Beautiful.
Cool.
Well, that was perfect timing.
There you go. Hello.
Who's on next week, Robbie?
Next week, I've actually got Krista Wells going to be joining us, and we're going to be sitting down, and we're talking to Bill Milcreast from ESET. And we're going to be talking about some of the latest antivirus protection that they're bringing out at ESET. Really exciting stuff. There are some, and I mean that, there are some really innovative tools that are coming forth from the ESET labs. And also, they are bringing something with them that I think you should know about, because we love to give things away. They are bringing preloaded Visa cards chock full of cash, and we are sending them out to you.
To me, to you, or
to you?
To you.
To
not
viewers
me,
who
you.
are registered on our website. We are going to be doing some contests over the next little while, courtesy of ESET. We've got Visa cash cards that we're going to be sending out, and that starts next Tuesday night as ESET is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about their products and giving away some of those. So you don't want to miss out. It's going to be awesome. Sasha, it's always great having you here. Thanks for
It is always
joining
great
us.
to be here.
Can't believe we're out of time, folks.
Wish I could be here every
How did we get
Tuesday,
here?
but
That'd
that's
be fun.
unfair
Yeah.
to everybody.
Just
else.
to the other co-hosts.
To the other
everyone
co-hosts.
else, it's very fair.
And also to the restaurant that serves half-price wings
Oh,
on Tuesdays.
I want to be there.
And I
Sorry,
have to-
folks. Tuesday night's show is canceled.
From now on. Half-price.
Sorry for your luck.
Oopsie.
I'm eating chicken wings. Half price.
Half price. Can't beat that.
Are they open after 8?
Yes, they are.
Nice.
Comes with a side of fries.
Fantastic. Sounds like a plan. See you there. Can we broadcast? Do they have internet? Broadcast from there?
Yeah, we have.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do this.
All right, let's do it. See ya. Have a good
Bye.
week.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Category 5 TV broadcasts live from Barrie, Ontario, Canada every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching this on demand or through cable TV, check out the local showtimes in your area at category5.tv and find out when you can watch live and interact in the community chat room. Category 5 is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.